The pick is in.
The Chicago Blackhawks have made their selection in the 2025 NHL Draft. I'm Rachel Donner, joined now by Jack Bushman of Locked On Blackhawks, and the Chicago Blackhawks have selected Anton Frondell with the third overall pick. And as one of the top centers in the draft, are you satisfied with this pick?
You know what, Rachel? Anton Frondell wouldn't have necessarily been my pick at 3. I did have James Higgins and Porter Martone rated above him, but I certainly understand why the Blackhawks made this selection, right? Already has a ton of experience over in Sweden playing professional hockey against grown men and performed really well in the HockeyAllsvenskan League. 25 points in 29 games. The Blackhawks have been desperately needing size and skill inside of their top 6. And whether Anton Frondell is going to play the center or wing position, he's certainly going to provide that. So checks a lot of boxes that the Blackhawks are missing. Has an absolute booming shot that should be paired well along with Connor Bedard. Thinking about those two at the dots on the Blackhawks power play for years to come is certainly exciting. So while Frondell necessarily wouldn't have been my pick, I still understand why the Blackhawks selected him, and I still think he's going to fit well with this group.
Yeah, so how does he fit into this young core that the Blackhawks are trying to put together with Connor Bedard?
Yeah, so with Bedard and Frank Nazar, Oliver Moore is a young player who was selected in the first round a couple of years ago that stepped onto the professional scene. And while they're all, talented players who have a lot of speed, they're all also a little bit undersized. And Anton Frondell is the opposite of that. At 6'1", already right around 200 pounds at 18 years of age. And he knows how to operate with it, right? Like I said, played in the HockeyAllsvenskan League this year against grown men, and that's a sharp part of his game already, is winning board battles, knowing how to leverage his size against his opponents to get a puck out of the defensive zone, turn it into offense, or just to go and win a one-on-one battle or a one-on-one opportunity. So he definitely is going to be size that the Blackhawks desperately need. And I'm going to be interested to see if he does wind up playing the center or wing position long-term, because the Blackhawks have a lot of centers in their forward group, not only with Bedard and Nazar, but Ryan Green was a second-round selection who came on the scene last year. Oliver Moore can also play the center position. And then Sasha Boisvert was a first-round selection for the Blackhawks last year. He's also a center iceman. So Anton Frondell playing the wing for the Blackhawks, honestly, with their depth, they might not hate that option, even though he's played center at a young age, just because they don't have a ton of skill on their wing and not a lot of size either. So he checks a lot of different boxes that the Blackhawks have been looking for.
Yeah, I think he'll end up playing center just because his two-way game is so strong.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the Blackhawks decide to do. And for more on Anton Frondell, here's Locked On NHL Prospects.
The most dangerous one-timer in the entire 2025 draft class just so happens to come from a detailed two-way center. I'm Sebastian High from Locked On NHL Prospects, ready to give you a breakdown of Anton Frondell's game. He's a 6'1", 205-pound left shot center who played with Jürgen IF against professional competition in HockeyAllsvenskan this season over in Sweden, where he scored 11 goals and 25 points in 29 games this campaign. He's a really detailed defensive player with a good level of awareness, engaged physicality, and a real desire to help his team in his own end. He also brings that high-end goal-scoring ability offensively, but is going to have to really revamp his ability to help his team in transition. He could really be a Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson style of top 6 two-way center who supports his team and could even hit that ceiling within a single year or two of development. For more on Frondell and all things NHL Draft, subscribe and follow Locked On NHL Prospects on YouTube or wherever you find your podcasts.
And for continued coverage of Anton Frondell and the rest of the Blackhawks picks in this year's draft, check out the Locked On Blackhawks podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.